The burden of knowledge. The entrance to the Katana Ravel lies open, and Elmet would see you on your way. With the Yulmorans gone and your companion now returned, I think it best you go now before they can regroup. With magic flowing once more through the Great Pyramid of Uxnir, the entrance to the Katana Ravel shall now be open. Before we leave, Urianger, did you discover anything that may suggest the Light Warden hides elsewhere? Nay, though we had but little time before the Yulmorans' most unwelcome arrival, we scoured the nearby environs and spoke once more with the one called Coriel. Having hearkened to her tale, it is my judgment that the Sin Eater which her late mother did espy was indeed the being we seek, and that it most likely resided in the vicinity of Rak'tika Falls. In the absence of any subsequent sighting, I have no reason to believe our quarry has sought out a new sanctuary, and given the considerable difficulty we face in reaching the falls, we may be certain it hath not been disturbed by man. Then our course is clear. We must navigate the Katana Ravel and make for Rak'tika Falls. Though you see it as but another obstacle to be navigated, the Katana Ravel is the oldest and most sacred of our temples. The accumulated knowledge of the Empire is said to reside within. Knowledge which is rightly yours as allies of Ronka. You are welcome to explore. I fully intend to survey every ilm of it once our mission is complete. Were the Emperor still alive, he would be overjoyed to hear you say so. But I must warn you, though the way is open, it will still be heavily guarded. To discourage trespassers and test the worth of our allies, it had to be so. Be careful in there. Head east and you will find the path of azure flowers leading to the Ravel. I wish you safe passage through its halls. I just noticed that little nutkin by Thancred. Has he always been there? Master Matoya, I know I cannot dissuade you from going, so please, promise me you will return safely. The Knights Blessed need you. You need not worry, Runar. I shall return and bring with me a long-awaited gift. One the Knights Blessed will treasure now and forevermore. At first I was like, what gift? And I was like, oh, of course, the night sky. Now, let us away. He's like, you better take care of your Master Matoya. Yeah, see that you take good care of Master Matoya and be the shadows, and may the shadows keep you. Lest you doubt, I won't be helping you do battle with the Light Warden. To accompany you thus is quite taxing enough. Now, if you've no further questions, are there any other Asians here in the first? Not a single one. Happily, I'm quite content to mingle with the masses. And even if I did crave the company of my own kind, one might say we're understaffed at present. There are no strict rules governing how we work, though that has not been without its consequences. In the beginning, we were each responsible for a shard, and free to do as we wished. But Igiorms, impetuous temperament showed us the folly in that. So Aegiorn was the one we killed. That was with La Habrea, and then I guess Thordan killed La Habrea, right? And do we know what Aegiorn's impetuous temperament did? I don't know. In light of her failings, we took to working in tandem as the situation demanded. Mitron and Logrif were supposed to take care of the first, of course. And nice, you don't even... So Mitron is... If I'm correct, Mitron is the one... is Eden. And then Logrif is... Gaia, I believe. It's just cool. Throw out the names now and, no context. But if you've done that stuff, then you know this. Alas, they were slain by the champions of this realm shortly before the flood. Expendable though they were, I found them quite useful. But that is a tale for another time. Travel east along the path of azure flowers. The Katana Ravel is not far. The Katana Ravel is said to be fiercely guarded. Please be careful. We need not worry about the Yomorans while you are inside. Should they return... Oh, yeah, you need not worry about the Yomorans while you are inside. Should they return, we will be ready. I don't know why I... Yeah, I'll just switch up, like, pronouns and stuff. Like, instead of you need not, for some reason I'm like, we need not. I don't know why I... But it happens often enough to be curious. So we only have these 4, so I just need to... Oh, so it just won't be Thancred coming along. I can't imagine what could have survived in there after so many years. After you, my friend. At long last, the time hath come to find out what wonders yet remain at the heart of Ronka. This had better work. I have no wish to return to the Great Temple. Or to the Great Pyramid. Jeez, man. You can feel the aether flowing through the door. A gentle push may be all that's required. Our earlier efforts were not in vain, it seems. Stay on your guard, Lavenza. We know not what awaits us inside. Alright. I don't know if they just say that. To think we'll be the first people in thousands of years to set foot inside this place. It's humbling. Knowing they've entrusted us with the history of their people, with their legacy. Keep an eye on Y'shtola and Urianger, would you? It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if one of them wandered off to inspect the temple's relics. Well, let's get this over with, shall we? When Thancred and I spoke with Corelli, she described unto us the form of our quarry, just as her mother had once done unto her. 'Tis a feathered beast, possessed of 3 heads, both simian and canine in nature. An abomination against... an abomination amongst abominations. Were Alphino to paint the picture sketched by the lady's words, the result would surely turn the blood to ice. I never did tell you why I chose to take up thaumaturgy, did I? No, you did not. As you will no doubt have noticed, life here in the First can be exceedingly unforgiving, brutal in a word. I had not long been in Norvrant when I realized my mastery of conjuring magics would not suffice to protect the people. 'Twas a struggle at first to embrace the change, but I confess the path of the thaumaturge suits me rather well. Alright, yep, that's... I was actually kind of concerned. It was like, okay, who am I going to have to give up to get Y'shtola into the group? But, I mean, nobody, really, because I can't have Thancred while I'm also tanking. Alright. I want to have that on. Guardians of the Rabble, in the name of the Emperor, I bid you awaken. Have care, I sense ether emanating from the statues. Right. Open your eyes and purge the rabble of this taint. I can say this is a pretty cool dungeon. I don't know that the bosses or the mechanics or even the aesthetic. I like the aesthetic once you get to like the back third of it. I mean, this stuff is cool, but it's not like it really strikes a chord with me or anything. But it does have some of my favorite looking gear out of this expansion. At least for Dancer. Which, you know, is, if you're unaware, is just the it's the same stuff that the what are they called again? Just the you know, the bunny girls at the village, what they wear. I don't recall what their like little civilization or whatever it's called. Like, I know the village is Finau, but I guess because on the first, generally, like, most of the Vis are still living there. I guess you could just say just, you know, the Vis village or whatever.
Together we shall overcome.
That actually brings up kind of an interesting observation, I guess. It's not really a question. It's not really... Yeah, it's just an observation of... I guess one of the downsides... Although it's not like other games don't do this either, I'm sure. I don't really remember... Well, I think WoW, it was just like there's strength gear, there's intelligence gear, there's, what is it, agility gear, and generally it's just the classes are divvied out by that. Where here it's, you know, more so broken up by your role. And then it gets a bit weird with melee. It really is weird. All of the other roles wear the same gear, but for whatever reason, they broke up melee into 3 different types of gear. But, my observation, though, is or just opinion, I guess, is more appropriate. Is one of the downsides of the way Final Fantasy does it. Although I would imagine, I mean, it would come out the same way even in WoW. And I don't remember what the gearing was like in Guild Wars 2 or really even like the Old Republic or anything like that. The whole point I'm trying to get to is, having played Dancer much of the life of Shadowbringers, I felt like there wasn't that many sets of gear that really, I think, fit Dancer aesthetically. It was pretty much here, and then Paglethon, I think, the latest dungeon, has gear that I think works with a Dancer, but everything else is either very neutral or works better for the other ones. The Ronkins guard their secrets well. Its design, and that was Urion J. Yashola says, its design calls to mind the Ronkin legends of giants. Fascinating. Crush intruders. But obviously, you know, because there is more than one job, you know, using a type of gear, it makes sense that they would kind of switch aesthetics around, you know, from dungeon to dungeon and so on and so forth. But I just feel like, again, I think it was, I mean, there's probably a set or two that I'm forgetting, but by and large, at least in my eyes, there's been 2 good sets. Ooh. Okay, I forgot to keep an eye on that stuff. 2 good sets for Dancer. Outside of, obviously, like, artifact armor. It'll be interesting to see what the job breakdown is like in Endwalker. Because if I don't end up caring for either Sage or Reaper, hopefully there's a ton of people that switch over to Reaper. More importantly, a ton of the current Dancers that switch over to Reaper. Because one of the only reasons I don't still, like, main Dancer is just because of how ubiquitous they are. Oop. I keep forgetting to keep enough MP for the Blackest Night. Do your tank buster so I can at least, yes, mitigate it properly at least once.
I will not hold back.
Do the thing. Y'shtola, do it. Truly a fascinating specimen of Ronkan ingenuity. That was Urian J. Y'shtola says, though thankfully nowhere near the fabled might of Lazadal. Yeah. It's got some cool music in here. I mean, this expansion is just... I mean, all of them have, what's that? All of them have great music, but I don't know, for some reason I just noticed it more in Shadowbringers. I don't know, you know, maybe it's just, I think, you know, everybody kind of has like their certain genre or more so like just musical vibe they get into. And Shadowbringers just really vibed with me. So I'm curious how far we'll be able to get into the story tonight. I think we're going into Amarang next. And I don't remember exactly how to pronounce the name. It's something similar in sound to like Malik's Well or something. It's not Malik. But I know that's at the end of the zone, or what you do in the zone, so I don't know that we'll get there. Because I know there's the whole trolley thing, and then another fight with, there it is again. Stand on your guard. We near the Tremor's source. Ranjit will have to fight again, as Thangred. The Night of Ixtlaqua. Piercing cry rings out through the temple. Oh. Acrobats. Clever name. And then we also have the cutscene at the end of this dungeon with big revelations. It'll be nice to watch that again, just to see if, you know, there was anything I missed the first time through. Or forgot, more importantly, I think. Or had no context for. I wonder how they'll be changing up the jobs in Endwalker. Because I know there are people that complain about how Warrior and Dark Knight play similarly because of Delirium and whatever Warrior's equivalent to that is. By the gods, it's hideous. That such a beast could survive down here all this time. Yeah, this is one I'm going to need the help of the trusts to get the dodging right, I think. I don't know if it's always been this way, but it is nice that pretty much the first casted ability a boss will do is its Tank Buster. Just to let you know right off the off the start. It's like, hey, this is Tank Buster. I clearly popped that too late. It's convenient how they know exactly where to stand before the pillars even fall. Unless there's a solid indicator that I'm just not seeing. Yeah, too late to pop Blackest Night now. It would have been about the same timing I had last time. Oh, it's probably the shadow. Which way the shadow is facing. Yeah, okay. Well, see, after all this time, I'm still learning mechanics. Okay, cast that, I think, too early. Ah, but it went off. Yeah. Yeah, that's better. better timing. My ears won't stop ringing. Would that we could stop and rest, but we must press on. Yeah, this area is very pretty. I just like outdoorsy areas, I think. Well, that are, you know, wooded or whatever. There's some type of foliage. I don't much care for deserts. Oh, at last, Rak'tika falls. Your Shola said that. And then Urianger said, and below awaiteth the Light Warden. This also, these kind of gorilla things remind me of, what's the movie, Congo? God, that's an old one now, isn't it? Interestingly, like I was thinking, should I bring this thing over to the other group? But interestingly, I think because of the way the trusts work, like I don't know that, like I think it's no faster taking on groups than it is if we could just take things on one mob at a time. I mean, maybe a little bit faster if you're DPS because your AoE is that much better, but I don't know. I was worried I was going to waste that blood weapon, you know, on just one mob, but it took that long to kill it. While it takes a bit longer, going in with trust is not a bad way of farming up gear, you know, if you want to guarantee. Oh, come on.
Now I've got you.
This is our last group ahead of us, though, I think. Before the boss. Well, certainly slower, but it didn't feel too bad.
I'll show you.
I think I botched that last blood spiller. Because I went for Edge of Shadow first. Alright, here comes the Light Warden. Eros. Or Eros. The Light Warden of Rak'tika. 'Tis more terrible than the beast described. Ren, gonna assume that's the tank buster? Yes, sir.
I'll show you.
I shall protect thee.
Ooh. I wasn't even going for that on purpose, but that worked out well.
I will not hold back.
He doesn't seem to have any cleaves, so I think this is alright placement. Oop. That was probably too late anyway. I took that poison just to get that hit a blood spiller in. Priorities. Almost to LB2. Here we go. After this mechanic. Oh, we just killed it anyway. Always sad after killing a Light Warden. That Light Warden, that was terrifying. Good, keep that memory with you. Oh. Got the guillotine. I don't think it's until the next one that we start to see some backfiring of, you know, the aether absorption. So why did...
The Light Warden is dead. The Blessed's prayers have been answered.
Like, what was with the whole shooting the aether up into the sky to, you know, to part the light from Holminster Switch, but now it just... You don't need to do anything. I guess just dramatic effect.
Aye, that they have.
Her condition yet troubleth thee?
It does. Though she shows no immediate signs of corruption, the danger remains. She must be told.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Would you describe it to me, Marie-Ange? Paint for me a picture with your words.
A sea of shimmering stars. Diamonds strewn across a raven gown. Boundless and beautiful. 'Tis an exquisite sight, not unlike that of the source. Calm and gentle and forgiving.
I can see it.
For however deep the void, or wide the expanse, there is no shore so distant as to be beyond the reach of light. Ominous though that may sound, given our present travails.
Well fought. Let us return home.
I just really like that scene. Oh.
The murals. If I am not mistaken, they predate the Empire.
How can you tell?
A peculiarity of the paint. Most are made from mineral-based pigments, but whatever was used here is older than anything I have ever seen. According to Almet, this sanctuary was built to preserve the wisdom of the ancients. What events do these murals commemorate, I wonder?
Well, let's find out.
Must you always linger after defeating your enemies? Navigating these halls on foot is exhausting.
Come to lead us to safety, have you?
I was bored. But how is the hero of the hour?
It's like, uncorrupted. Disappointing.
Fighting fit, I see. Keep up the good work.
You're plotting something.
Every hour of every day. But never you mind about that. As I have told you 1,000 times before, I like to watch. Nothing more.
Kinky.
Well, I would quit this place and I suggest you do the same. There is yet work to be done. Ah, there is a sight to bring a tear to the eye.
You recognize these scenes?
That I do. Indeed, there was a time when anyone and everyone would. Until one calamitous day when the world was divided across 10 and 3 reflections, sundering the land and all who dwelled upon it. And the worst part? No one could remember it. Not really. Just fragments and fleeting memories of an achingly familiar world. A vision shared of a paradise lost, preserved only in song and scripture and paint. Once upon a time. Yet here we find ourselves again, to look, learn, and remember.
Then share with us the stories you know so well. We are listening.
Before the Great Sundering, there was one world. A world that knew naught but peace and prosperity. Until it was faced with a crisis. Unprecedented, terrifying. Civilization found itself perched upon a precipice, staring into oblivion. But through prayer and sacrifice, the will of the star was made manifest. Zodiac was his name, and by his grace was the calamity averted.
Zodiac.
A savior mighty and magnificent, deserving of reverence and gratitude. One would have thought, yet some thought otherwise. From the fears of these naysayers would rise Hydaelyn, she who was to serve as his shackles, to bind him and hold him in check. And so they fought, And they fought, and they fought, and in the end, Hydaelyn was victorious. With all her strength, she smote him, dealing a blow so devastating that it split the very fabric of reality. And thus was Zodiark banished and his being divided. That concludes today's lesson on long-forgotten history. Though I imagine your mother would offer a rather contradictory account, as is her wont.
I'm sorry, I can only assume I misheard. But it sounded an awful lot like you were implying both Zodiark and Hydaelyn are not gods. But
What? Not gods of the first? Is that what you thought these paintings depicted? Or... Oh. Oh. They are gods after a fashion, yes. But no different from the kind with which you are so intimately acquainted. Formed of faith and prayer, of conviction and devotion. The eldest and most powerful of primals.
You have spun quite a tale. Yet you have not explained the role of the Ascians in all of this. How is it you are privy to ancient secrets lost to time?
Finally you ask the right question. And shrewd questions warrant honest answers. We Ascians know because it is our history, our story. It was we who summoned Zodiark. We natives of that sundered paradise. Now, do you see why we yearn for the great rejoining? For our world, for our people, for all creation to be made whole again. Wouldn't you wish for the same?
So amazing. That's just like... It's like all those threads, you know, starting back in A Realm Reborn, maybe even 1.0, because Ascians, I think, were around in 1.0, just suddenly start coming together. And it starts making sense of everything that's happened before now. It's just so good. But yeah, I wanted to say the Urianger and Y'shtola moment, you know, of him describing the sky to her, I just think is just such a touching and beautiful moment. And if there was ever a time you would actually want Urianger to describe something to you, it would be in a moment like that. Oh, so good. But what I found interesting was Emmett talking about those murals, you know, and saying there was a time that everybody, you know, would know that story before the Sundering or something like that. And I was like, wait a minute, no, because this is all depicting well, I mean, it wouldn't be something people would rejoice before the Sundering, because it was essentially the tale of the Sundering. So that was a little weird to me. Thancred did tell me about primals, but I don't fully understand what all of this means. The eldest and most powerful of primals. Gods. If that were Hydaelyn's origin, then what would that make... No, I will not take the words of an Ascian on truth. It has to be a lie. It's big reveals. 'Tis oft said the truth is a matter of perspective. Yet upon this matter, there can be but one truth. I only pray it is not his. I mean, I guess it could technically still not be the truth. But I think he does bring it up, that he has never lied to us. And I think when... with other stuff that I think we do actually see the truth of, like it's still not speculation, I think it would lead us to believe that he didn't lie. But maybe it wasn't him that was talking about not lying, and it was Elidibus? I don't remember. That was an enlightening experience, though not in the way I had hoped. Do you suppose there's any truth in Emet-Selch's claims? As far as I can remember, I think it's all truth. I think it's all. Thank you all for watching. Tonight's stream was emotional. So we finished up Rak'tika with Katana Ravel, and then unbeknownst to me, I did not remember. I thought we were going to go straight into Amarang. There was the whole attack on the Crystarium and Lakeland, which I had just forgotten about, and it's such a great sequence, great cutscenes. Definitely, I would say the most emotionally gripping of Shadowbringers so far. And yeah, I just thoroughly enjoyed it. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did and you want to see more, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to join me live, the link to my Twitch is in the description down below. Thank you again, and I hope you have a good one.